Shall we?
All confident, happy place. Welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here relive fond memories of the past. And here you may think of the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
In the pre-show film, you get a chance to see Royal Dano. Now, he's a Broadway actor that Walt Disney picked out to be the voice of Mr. Lincoln back in 1960. Young girlfriend, hat, he just heard it for himself. Enjoy this, go to the theater for a half
What's wrong with Disneyland?
What would be that? You want that?
just on the other side of the door, so watch your step going in, folks. This will be our 9:20 showing. We'll start up for you in 2 minutes. Blow on it.
Hello and welcome to Disneyland's 50th anniversary celebration. For this truly historic event, no ordinary host would do. No, the Disney folks wanted someone who's been here from the beginning. They wanted a household name.
I'm a household name.
A name that means family entertainment.
That's me. I'll do it.
Donald, calm down. You're just too animated. I'm referring, of course, to me, Steve Martin.
I was Walt's favorite.
Oh, really? Well, I don't remember him calling that show the Donald Duck Club. Now just waddle along. As I was saying, the Disney folks came to me because I began my career right here at the Magic Shop at Disneyland. That's me, Disneyland class of 1960. Magician, prestidigitator, and seller of fake bombs. So young Steve Martin starts performing magic here, and lo and behold, they start calling the place the Magic Kingdom. Coincidence? I don't think so. But right now, I'd like to introduce you to the man who started it all, Walt Disney. Walt, tell us how it all began.
Well, it came about when my daughters were very young. Saturday was always Daddy's Day with the two daughters. So we'd start out and try to go someplace, different things, and I'd take them to the merry-go-round, and I took them different places. And as I'd sit there while they rode the merry-go-round, did all these things, sit on a bench, eating peanuts, I felt that there should be something built, some kind of an amusement enterprise built where the parents and the children could have fun together.
That's a great idea.
So that's how Disneyland started.
I'll take it from here, Walt. Thanks. This priceless artwork shows the first design for Disneyland, a small park that would have been near the Disney Studios in Burbank. It's sweet, isn't it? But he couldn't stop there. Not Walt. He wanted a world of the future, an exotic jungle, a wilderness frontier, and... Don't worry, Donald. This is just the most rare and valuable piece of art in the Disney archives. It's the painting that sold the concept of Disneyland to the bankers. It was a painting. Then Walt heard about an orange grove in Anaheim for sale. An hour away from any major city at the end of a dirt road. Talk about impossible dreams. If I could take you back in time. Wait a minute. What am I saying? I'm a magician. Here is the actual orange grove 1 year from opening. And that's actually Walt Disney in the actual orange grove. Let's listen in on his top secret plans.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Aha! Some sort of code. I get it. Walt also had a code for all the trees on the property. Red ribbons for the big trees he wanted to save for Disneyland, and green ribbons for the ones he wanted removed. But, as fate would have it, the bulldozer driver was colorblind! Oops. So, Disneyland, less than a year from opening. No one in their wildest imagination could ever build an entire theme park here in just 1 year.
Oh, yeah, I'll show ya. Watch this, Magic Boy. That guy's sound. Keep going, boys. Faster, faster. That's it, good work. That's it, good work. Opening day. Take it away, Walt.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Walt's dream had finally come true. And to celebrate, ABC organized the biggest live telecast in history. Some of the most famous stars in Hollywood showed up, including host Art Linkletter.
Frank Sinatra. Hello, Franco. Who's driving? Sammy Davis Jr. Hello, Sammy. Bob Cummings, Ronnie Reagan. Come on in. Davy Crockett. Buddy Epstein's there, too. But right now, it's my pleasure to introduce the famous star whom Mr. Disney has asked to christen the Mark Twain. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Disney.
I'll take it from here, Mr. Linkletter.
Just took my microphone.
Hey, what's the big idea?
I'm translating. Nobody can understand what you're saying.
You can't go.
Cannot.
Can't.
Not.
I'll show you.
Ignore the duck. As I was saying, the lands that America saw on the Disneyland television show became real.
I'll show you my photo. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah. On opening day, we had Frontierland, Tomorrowland, Fantasyland, and Adventureland. It was a perfect day.
Oh, really? I wouldn't say perfect. It was 100 degrees in the shade, and the freshly poured asphalt was still wet. 11,000 people were invited, but 28,000 showed up. Newspapers predicted the worst for Walt and his park, but only 90 days later, the 1 millionth guest walked through the gate. Disneyland not only survived, it thrived.
We absolutely did thrive, ladies and gentlemen. Matter of fact, we are estimating by the end of this year to have welcomed our 600 millionth guest through our front gates. Now that concludes part 1 of our first 50 magical years. Just a moment, part 2 is going to begin. Part 2 is going to show the way the lands and attractions have changed since opening day. Also going to show Walt Disney's most popular invention, which was audio animatronics. Now during that segment, they're going to show 3 ladies putting together the birds for the Tiki Room. The one in the middle with black hair, her name is Leota Tubes, also known as Madame Leota, the floating head inside the Haunted Mansion. Now folks, you're about 15 minutes away from great moments with Mr. Lincoln.
Walt wanted the magic of Disneyland to begin as soon as you walk through the gates. And your first stop is this turn-of-the-century street inspired by the small town where Walt grew up. He felt so at home here. He even had an apartment built for himself above the fire department, and it's still there today. Walt paid tribute to his father in one of the shop windows. In others, you'll find some of Disneyland's most important contributors. Nice try, Donald. Many shops have come and gone here over the last 50 years. Gone is the working pharmacy, and gone but not forgotten, my favorite, Hollywood Maxwell's Corset Shop, better known as the Wizard of Bras. Yes, Disneyland is filled with nostalgia and memories, but that's only part of the magic. Let's not forget fantasy. Ah, hear that? When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. For Walt, that was the very essence of Fantasyland. Of all the lands, this was closest to Walt's heart. He even placed the Disney family crest right above the castle gate. Fantasyland was created by the same artist who created Disney's animated films at the studio. And soon those storybook tales came to life in an orange grove in Anaheim. For the first time, we could step into those worlds and become a part of the adventure. In Adventureland at New Orleans Square, surprises happen all the time. In fact, Disneyland is the only place I can think of where you can be attacked by pirates, frightened by ghosts, and nearly crushed by a giant boulder, while keeping your arms, legs, and feet inside the vehicle at all times. And here's the adventure that started them all. Remote rivers through a treacherous jungle. Could something go horribly wrong? Only a punchline. Over the years, the Jungle Cruise has become a showcase for handsome and witty river guides. Oh no! That big elephant is coming up to us and it looks like he's going to squirt us! Everyone in the back, get down!
You never saw this, little James.
Don't worry, it never happens. It was the duck, right? The duck? You know, every time I get all dressed up in my cowboy hat and pearl-handled pistols, I think about the heroes of frontier. You see, Walt believed it was important to pay tribute to the pioneers who blazed a trail across frontier America. And I agree. Especially when it involved saloon girls and blazing six guns! In Frontierland, you could meet popular Disney heroes of the day, like Davy Crockett and Zorro. For a while, there was an authentic American Indian village. And in the little mining town called Rainbow Ridge, you could board a mine train or pack mule to explore nature's wonderland. And then the West got a whole lot wilder. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad was a thrilling addition to Disneyland's growing mountain range. The first peak was the Matterhorn, one of Disneyland's first e-ticket attractions. But the most out-of-this-world mountain of them all is right here in Tomorrowland. When Disneyland first opened, Tomorrowland gave us a preview of the amazing, futuristic world of 1986. Okay, so the 1980s didn't turn out that way. But Tomorrowland is really about imagining the possibilities of the future. So we got to go to the moon before real astronauts did. We got to travel through the mighty microscope on atom-mobiles, beyond the realm of normal magnification.
Microscope scanning, signal modulation positive.
Can this be the threshold of inner space?
Tomorrowland has always been a showcase for new ideas and new inventions. including one of Walt's most famous.
Audio animatronics?
Right, audio animatronic.
And this technology wasn't just for the birds. Walt's idea got better and, as always, bigger.
With my new wash day marvel, it takes only 5 hours.
Not only could these robotic performers talk and act, they could jam. Hit it, boys!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes part 2 of our first 50 magical years. Just a moment, part 3 is going to begin. Now, part 3 is going to show entertainment throughout the years here in the park. It's also going to show a gentleman by the name of Wally Bogue, who holds the Guinness Book of World's Record for most consecutive performances. He has over 47,000. Yeah, Wally Bogue started performing here opening day July 17th, 1955 at the Golden Horseshoe Review, and he never missed a performance till the day he retired in January of '82. Matter of fact, Steve Martin was his understudy for a short while, but since Wally never missed a show, Steve Martin never performed. Now, folks, you're about 10 minutes away from great moments with Mr. Lee.
Yes, Disneyland has had thousands of great entertainers over the years, and not all of them have had servos and circuit boards. I learned a lot about comedy by watching Wally Bogue, star of over 47,000 shows at the Golden Horseshoe Review. And he was only one of the great homegrown acts that brought their unique magic to Disneyland over the years. For a lot of us, Disneyland's best magic trick happens every day at dusk, when all the lights come on and the Magic Kingdom is transformed before our very eyes. You know, that's one of the great things about Disneyland. Everyone has their own special memories. For some, it's the first time they walk through these gates. For others, it's their first parade. And I'm sure for all of you, it's watching me, Steve Martin, host Disneyland's big 50th anniversary. But while shows and attractions are all great, I think for most people, the real magic of Disneyland is right here. It's you, Donald. Yes, it's you and Mickey and all the rest of the gang who always make us feel like old friends. Oh. Shall we?
Let's do it!
Goodbye, everybody. You know, I have to admit, you would have made a perfect host, Donald.
Thanks, Steve.
Next to me.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here age relives fond memories of the past. And here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the Disneyland story, our first 50 magical years. We'd now like to invite everyone into our back lobby where our pre-show with Mr. Lincoln is about to begin in about 2 minutes. If you want to make your way to the far end of the room, folks, right up in the fireplace, that's where it's going to be shown. Thank you.
While you are waiting to enter the theater, may we present as a prologue a brief bit of background about great moments with Mr. Lincoln.
A member of the state legislature has to dress up to his job.
Put it on.
What up? Oh. Gentlemen of the jury, I stand here today on behalf of these two young men. I think they'll go far. But it's your responsibility, gentlemen, which way they go far. Gentlemen, you can give them a chance to become morally responsible. I asked one of the soldiers, who is dead in the White House? And he answered, the president. He was killed by an assassin. And a loud burst of grief from the crowd awoke me from my dream.
Ever since I was a youngster, I've had a great personal admiration for Abraham Lincoln. So when we decided to bring to Disneyland's visitors some great moments in Mr. Lincoln's life, we began an exhaustive research. We wanted to bring to the people of today the inspiring words of the man who held this nation together during its moment of greatest crisis, the Civil War. To start with, we were fortunate in being able to secure this life mask of the 16th president. How do we get this, Blaine?
This is actually a copy of an original life mask by the sculptor Leonard Volk.
Before Lincoln was president.
Before Lincoln was president.
Before he had a beard.
That's right.
During our exhaustive research into Lincoln's life, we studied his mannerisms, his gestures, and even his voice characteristics to create a faithful likeness of this honored man. The final result is so lifelike that you might find it hard to believe. Now let's go into the Opera House and listen carefully to the words of Mr. Lincoln, spoken by him a century ago, but which still apply today to free men everywhere.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you will pass through the doors leading to our theater, we welcome you to Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, I'd like to ask that everyone please remain behind the red line on the carpet there in front of them. These doors will be opening outward. Also, watch your step as you enter the theater. There are stairs and slanted ramps. For those of you using wheelchairs, please use the center doors located right below the bronze eagle. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, through the magic of Disney, we relive great moments with Mr. Lincoln.
The world has never had a good definition of the word liberty. And the American people just now are much in want of one. We all declare for liberty, but in using the same word, we do not all mean the same thing. What constitutes the bulwark of our liberty and independence? It is not our frowning battlements, our bristling seacoasts. These are not our reliance against tyranny. Our reliance is in the love of liberty, which God has planted in our bosoms. Our defense is in the preservation of the spirit which prizes liberty as the heritage of all men, in all lands, everywhere. Destroy this spirit, and you have planted the seeds of despotism around your own doors. At what point shall we expect the approach of danger? By what means shall we fortify against it? Shall we expect some transatlantic military giant to step the ocean and crush us with a blow? Never. All the armies of Europe, Asia, and Africa combined could not by force take a drink from the Ohio or make a track on the Blue Ridge in a trial of 1,000 years. At what point, then, is the approach of danger to be expected? I answer, if it ever reach us, it must spring from amongst us. It cannot come from abroad. If destruction be our lot, we ourselves must be its author and finisher. As a nation of free men, we must live through all times or die by suicide. Neither let us be slandered from our duty by false accusations against us, nor frightened from it by the menaces of destruction to the government, nor of dungeons to ourselves. Let us have faith that right makes might. And in that faith, let us to the end dare to do our duty as we understand it.
My eyes have seen the